Welcome, my people. We're live. The Browns are 30-10 winners in Carolina, and we're here to talk about a little post-game coverage of what happened in down in Charlotte. So we start with a quick reminder before we do so. If you're on the YouTube here, make sure healthy reminder, hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate if you could do that and give us a follow, a subscription right there, right, to join us if you can. And I think everyone's hearing me. I don't know what Peter says he can't hear me, but I'm getting audio coverage on my side, so maybe he's got maybe you got a personal issue there, Peter. We'll take care of. Yeah, there it is. All right. Well, anyway, the reminder is to subscribe to the YouTube channel, smash that, give us a like, and tell everybody you can about what we're doing at Browns Film Breakdown. Come to the website and join us there. A couple cups of coffee every month. You get the best Browns coverage, I think, floating around on the internet with in-depth preseason details, such as all 22 tomorrow morning from what happened today, which is going to be tough to find in the market. All 22 coverage and film breakdowns of what transpired in Charlotte. The Browns, like I said, 30-10 winners, and you feel pretty good about it. We feel pretty good about it. Look, it's preseason. Ultimately, does it make or break anything? No, doesn't, right? It does not decide whether the Browns go 17-0 or 0-17, but you don't mind winning. You don't mind having some good performances. And I think that we could all agree that in the midst of all of this today, there were some pretty strong performances, which we will talk about. But again, we're not here to crown anybody. We're not here to do anything crazy, but we are here to tell you we like winning. The organization needs to win as many times as they can just to continue to get the culture of, your team having more points than the other team. So we like the outcome while keeping the perspective fresh. Peter, I welcome you in, man. And we are here really to discuss what turned into, and we knew it would, the Shador Sanders party, which is where every bit of attention. I went in halftime, man, to look up photos. I like to get a photo of the game, like for the game recap, our game notes. We like to do. I like to get that in place. I like to have some stuff, just kind of peek about what's been. It was like 95% Shador Sanders photos. That's not an exaggeration either. Like game photos were just him, and that's the coverage. Nike Football's got an ad on Twitter already.
Was that real?
It's real. Apparently very real. I mean, look, the kid played well. We can pull up the stat line. We'll talk about it. But I want your initial reaction to his performance.
I'll echo your sentiments that after going 3-14 and minus 22, as they mentioned on the broadcast, in the turnover margin last year, anytime your team wins 30-10, even if it doesn't matter, it's just nice to see. Doesn't really happen often, so always just going to enjoy that. And what I'll actually remember from this game will probably be Shador, but he's probably not the third or fourth most thing that I thought was interesting for the Browns organization. Not to take the wind out of people's sails, but I thought there was like 3 or 4 things that were more impactful for this game, for actually kind of what you might be able to glean about the team. And that being said, when it comes to Shador, he was really impressive. He did everything right. He proved all of the doubters wrong, and I don't think it changes absolutely anything about him not seeing the field, if at all, this year. And Joe Flacco should start.
There we go. I mean, you remove it's not just social media, it's TV shows, the hoopla around all of it, right? And it felt like it turned into everybody needed a take on, were the Browns holding him hostage? Were they doing him wrong? How could he play if he's not going to play with the first team? He did exactly what I talked about leading up to this. He played a lot of the game, and the Panthers had some of their better guys in, not all of them defensively, but some of them in for the first 2 series, right? And he played against a pretty level playing field the rest of his time out there. And there were good moments. A fantastic first touchdown throw where he's fading to his left off the bootleg. And really, when you see the reverse view of it, which I threw up, because I don't know, man, I give away all my trade secrets here, Peter, but like I watch the Browns coverage, but then I tune in for an illegal stream of the opposing teams. It was a different camera view, which I thought was really funny, that they like don't feed off the same camera for the game. So like they had a couple really good views of like the back corner of that end zone where I can't remember who caught the first. Was it Caden Davis who caught the first one?
Caught both of them.
Oh, he did catch both of them. He fit that ball in a pretty tight window. It was a really fun catch. It's actually up on our TikTok channel. Follow TikTok, Instagram, and all the other social platforms that we're on, and you can see that one. And it's a good view. It's a good throw. It's a good ball. And he had some other good ones. He had the nice kind of scramble effort where he put that ball at a nice little arc spot there. I give him some credit. You're kind of amped up, and when you're amped up, like throwing on the run can get difficult because you got a lot of energy and it's a very touch-driven moment. And he put a ball to not Gage actually, who played well, but he put it to Luke Flourier, the local kid, who made a nice one-hand catch. And then his second touchdown was a really good ball too, where he's sort of punching out of the pocket. He reads left side, and I'll walk you through it if you guys care. We're going to talk about this on Film Breakdown, but what he's doing is it's a third down. Browns are running a double stick concept to his left. He has an over route from his right slot and then a dig behind the over route. Meant to, if the over route pulls out the safety in cover 3, traditionally, a lot of teams play very vanilla coverage in the preseason. If he pulls that direction, the dig right behind it, pretty open usually, if you can get to it. He reads left side on the I think it was a third medium, and they actually get a free blitzer who the running back has to come from his right side and pick up. And as he works away from that, trust the back. I think it was Amani Marshall. Is that his name? I mean, make sure I'm saying his first name correct. But yes, comes across number 39. I think is what he wears. Comes across, does a great job, picks it up. He gets to the dig, boom, money. Like that's NFL stuff. Those are NFL throws. He had a great throw to Gage Larvadain on a third and deep in his own territory on a dig over the middle on a third and long. There are moments here. We're going to break down all the moments. There were also, like you said, and we've talked about some of those like hesitation things that like when teams were breaking it, is this guy first rounder? Is he second rounder? The drift in the pocket, the he's got more Jacoby Brissett athleticism than Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's a little heavy runner. He's a heavy-footed kid, and too many times drifting, couple real bad floaters. One got sacked on 4th and 2, which again, nothing was open on that 4th and 2 to his credit. They ran a concept I'll break down for you guys, but nothing was open. But the drifting back, you just can't, there's only so much vertical drift you can do, right? Like even Lamar Jackson knows this, and he can get out of more crazy scenarios than anybody in the league. But that happened. And then obviously there was a couple more where he kind of drifted into these like double split. That's stuff against the fastest versions of NFL athletes. That's just going to get buried. So those are the things where I said in camp, Peter, when I was up there, like, hey, he is making some throws that you see on social that are like, nice ball, man. That's a good placement. That's a nice read. Got the ball. There are also these moments of like at the line of scrimmage, it's clear there's some miscommunication. There was an illegal shift penalty that was on the quarterback. He's got to get everybody set and know when he can put the next guy in motion. Those things came up at camp. And there was that drifting that has shown up at camp too. He's like, oh, you really can't hang on. Even if you don't like your options, you can't drift vertical because then you're going to take sacks. It's going to be ugly plays. And like that stuff came out if we're keeping it balanced. I think a great question in our founding members Slack channel, who are the folks who come over to us and subscribe at our highest tier. You get the slick hat like we're wearing here. You get the Browns Film Breakdown hat, and you get exclusive access to a channel, which is 24/7 Browns talk and a whole bunch of other talk in there, Peter. And I think it's the best. I really love checking that. And somebody said, what do you grade him for the game? And I would say B+. There were for your first game, big moment. I mean, we posted on Instagram and all of the other places, like the ticket prices that I think Andrew Siciliano, a friend of this podcast, might I mention, posted that they were pretty high, really high for a preseason opener where you don't think you're going to see a ton of quality football players out there most of the game. So he sells. He pushes the envelope. He sells. I think I give him a B+. I think, like I said, good moments, really good moments, some really good balls in his performance. But also, again, if we're keeping it grounded, some of the stuff there that causes him to go, 14 of 23, which is not the best effective completion percentage you can find, is the result. So I'm a B+. But that's great. He's a 5th round rookie, man, who's coming into a heavy scenario where he doesn't get the most reps and needed to flash. And did he flash, Peter? I say, yeah, quite clearly. He flashed some good play. Where are you at with it grade wise?
I was the same place. I kind of thought B+. I thought he did things well, like that we've taken for granted as Browns fans for the last several years, which is like get in and out of the huddle, get everybody lined up, I kind of thought he got hosed. I thought they'd give him a bad spot on that first 3 and out. I kind of thought he got the first down there. But overall, I would say Shador Sanders is a Rorschach test for anybody who's watching him.
That's a great point.
That's really what it is. If you think he should have been the first round pick and is the second coming of Tom Brady, then this validated that. If you think he drifts too much and it gets a little over his skis and doesn't have the livest arm, then you saw exactly what you wanted to tonight. So to me, kind of was exactly what everybody saw coming out of college, no matter how you saw him. But 2 touchdowns look good. Got away with a couple of balls, but at the end of the day, didn't have any turnovers. And I think, someone to transcend this Browns curse of quarterbackdom, Flacco did it 2 years, I think, because he just is old and doesn't care anymore and has kind of got that aw shucks mentality. But I think if Shador is given a chance this year, he definitely has the right demeanor of someone who can handle this in a way that it kind of ended up breaking Baker in some regard. Not fully kind of why Baker was gone. I think there's a lot of factors of that. But to me, I'm interested. I'm interested to see kind of actually what the team changes, if anything, about what reps look like coming out of this game. Because Kenny Pickett clearly is not going to be healthy for the rest of the preseason as someone who is also way more scrambles way more and runs around way more than Shador or Flacco.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe Thomas was on there calling for him to get first team reps against the Eagles. So I don't think he should get thrown to the wolves again. I like what this team is trotting out there with Flacco. And maybe that's just because there's not the weight and the shadow of all the Deshaun Watson and Ken Dorsey hanging over it. But I would say Shador was great, but I still want this team to roll out. And one of the biggest takeaways I saw from this game which wasn't Shador, was yes, there were some Tommy Rees jet sweep wrinkles and some interesting things that you can speak much more eloquently to. But I saw a return to form of just Stfansky kind of offense. It felt very comfortable. It felt like something we've known for the last several years. And as you said with Jared on the pod earlier today, when Kevin Stfansky gets league average quarterback plays 26-12. And I don't think that's Shador. I guess maybe you could convince me it's Kenny Pickett, but this is all really exciting. I'm excited for the rest of the preseason. I don't emotionally care about the hype of Shador. It's fun for me. It's fun to get excited, but I don't care about how people feel about it. I don't care what Tony Grossi says or Ken Carman says or Darryl Ryder or Zach Jackson, Mary Kay. People are paid for their hot takes and opinions. Stephen A., Louis Riddick. That's fine. But to me, it's just a lot of noise. And the cool thing is Shador kind of says too, it's just a lot of noise. Doesn't care if he gets more reps. Apologize for his dad because he didn't thought he played well to his standard. It's hard to dislike what this kid does around and on the football field. All the other stuff you can have your opinion about, but if you're actually hearing how he answers questions and what he does and what his teammates say of him, you have to give him props. He also went out there and executed tonight, played 3 quarters and held his own. So a lot there, but people are going to take from it, I would say, at the end of the day, people are going to take from it what they want, no matter what side you're on.
There's no doubt. I think the thing that I wanted to see was, and I talk about this with rookies all the time, you're not developed by any stretch when you get in the league. And I think this carries to any sport. Really, baseball's different because baseball, you spend extended amount of time in the professional ranks and you have a lot of opportunity. But between the age of college football players coming out and, it's the same with college basketball. I just want to know what you can do. Can you give me some flashes of what you can do? And some of the can do flashes tonight were things that made you sit up in your seat a little bit. Right now, this isn't to say anything really. Deshaun Kaiser had sit up moments. He had some great throws in that rookie year he had, but he had too many down moments. So Shador's balance here is, how does he figure out keeping things consistently moving forward? Because you asked that question of before the show, I think we were honestly at halftime talking, where you're like, how does Tom Brady, get drafted and become who he is? Well, the guys who are, and this is not a knock on Shador, I hope people don't take it this way, he doesn't have the best physical gifts. His ability to drive the football deep downfield into tight windows.
Let me reframe this, Jake, in just more specificity. Because what I asked you too is like Tom Brady's. I looked up the scouting report and did side-by-side analysis of just what people were saying about Shador versus Tom Brady. And that wasn't to do anything other than like they wear number 12, and just like, what does it take? What would it take for a 5th-round quarterback to be league average, let alone become the greatest quarterback of all time? And also, how does that relate to Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield has has a better arm, but he's not as big. Was tighter on decision making, clearly a 1st-round pick. And the reason why I brought both of those guys up is because he went in the 5th, but half of all the people who do this for a living thought he was going to be a 1st-round pick. So I guess it's really understanding, like, when we scrutinize everything so closely, where is there room for growth and maturation when it's not about kind of what's happening on First Take or in the headlines? Like, how do you really articulate how not how Tom Brady became who he became, but where are places that we should be looking as Brown fans to see Shador just like show enough where they think hard about not drafting a quarterback next year? I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what it is. What
has to happen is, like I was trying to articulate there, he doesn't have the best natural tools, and that's not a knock. Like, he cannot drive the football the way Cam Ward can. You watch the preseason, pre-draft videos, you can see it. You just want to see two compared to each other. It's not to say his arm is bad. I think his arm is adequate. And it's not to say he's not, athletic enough to get out of some chaos moments, right? He's got some level of athleticism. The thing that you have to see for him is, can he find a way to win between the years? Like, he has to be, and this is something that it doesn't always click early for guys, and you got to be in the right offense. Sometimes you got to be surrounded by the right weapons. There's all those elements that play into this, right? But where Shador Sanders will win when he wins, if he is a winner at this level consistently for some franchise, hopefully the Browns, that would be great, is that he is ahead of the curve. I'm watching film with you guys, and I'm like, hey man, here's what he did. He identified this front side blitz. He identified it, processed it, knew where that guy came from. And when he comes, that's an indication behind this field blitz, they like to play cover 3. Here's how it rolls, and here's how he picked it apart. And he was one step ahead of the defense. That's when he'll get there, right? Because I talked to you about this, where, like, are there other guys who don't have, air quotes, supreme traits that still find a bunch of success? Because you look at Josh Allen, flick of the wrist, just insane football player, turned into an even better athlete than when he came out. Mahomes is the same way. He was exceptional athlete, hand-eye coordination, flick of the wrist guy. Like, Shador has to go down more of the Joe Burrow archetype, where Joe is not the most gifted thrower of the football. He's got a bunch of arm talent because he can change arm angles. He can put the football where he wants. He's got good accuracy, great accuracy. But really where a guy like Joe Burrow wins is between the ears. He's got a locker room that believes in him insanely. He is constantly out in front of what the defense is trying to do, has an angle for it, manipulates it, knows where to go with the football. Now, Jamar T, help, no doubt. But this is a guy who is insanely comfortable with making decisions in split-second moments. You talk about this, you kind of read things about his childhood and how coaches articulated this to them. Also, on top of that, he's got like this ability in the most chaotic situations from a very young age to stay calm. So you got that ability even in the most chaotic situations. He like has the heartbeat of a serial killer, killing someone. Like, that was the comparison. Like, they don't get excited. That's how he operates. That's how Shador will have to be. He will have to be constantly out in front of the mental aspect of the game, and he can do it. He can do it. We'll see. Does he get the time to do it? Does he get to prove that this year? The nature of where he was selected versus the nature of where he may end up starting games this year. You'd be remiss to say that this is not ideal. It's not ideal. It just, when you're picked in the 5th round, the patience, the opportunity, all of it is just not consistent. Now, could it work out? 100%. And today was a step in the right direction, no doubt, right direction. But this is what he's going to have to do. So he's going to have to prove. That's like I'm just telling you how that works for him if he's going to be a consistently good NFL starter over a long period of time. Those are the traits that have to come together. And today I thought, again, very calm amongst chaos. He did have the drift moments. He's got to really fight that tendency. If you remember, Baker Mayfield, who's finding better days now in Tampa, had a really bad roll right out of the pockets, stuff that just kept coming up. You got habits. You got to break the habits. He's got to break that drift habit. But there were just too many good things inside of this game to feel anything other than, we're not defining anything, but anything other than like, hey man, those were good moments. And those are things that he can build on. And if he's doing enough of that continually at practice, you feel like he's got a chance. And that's all you want to do with the 5th round pick. Does the guy have a chance? Okay, that's exciting, right? Because think about Brock Purdy comes in late in that first year and lights it up because he understands the offense in and out. He's ahead of the game. He knows what Kyle Shanahan wants to do. That's it. That's the spot. Now, it helped that the 49ers had given up multiple first-round picks for Trey Lance, so they didn't have the opportunity to take a quarterback in the next few drafts, but that's the nature of the situation. He's got to come in whenever he's called on this year. You and I would agree, Peter, that he's likely to get called on to start a game or 2, 3, 5, 7 this year, and he's got to capitalize. He's got to really blow people away with how he does it. Like, you got to be very smart about when to throw the football away. You got to be very smart about staying in front of the sticks. Use his legs like he did a little bit tonight to get laterally and then vertical, create first down. So, yeah, man, the vibes are good. The vibes are good, and we don't need to dampen it anymore. I think the conversation is right. You know, we're having the conversation of like, oh, this was impressive. What does it mean? And I think that's the great part of this conversation around a guy who, again, was not getting a ton of work with any relevant team just a week ago. So like, this is just a great moment. It's good for him. Happy for him.
If you ride with him, then this is the best case scenario for him, full stop, and you. So I would also say too, as maybe we take a slight detour from Shador, are we sure that he's not going to have a similar opportunity a week from tomorrow in Philadelphia?
No indication otherwise. I mean, at this point, the other two, maybe Flacco plays. Second preseason game is usually when
I was going to say, like, maybe Flacco gets a series.
Yeah, he's going to get, and even depends. Dylan, they'll want to get Dylan a lot of work too to see what it looks like in a live setting at some point. And now, if it's an extended week away,
right? But they've said it doesn't seem like there's been any indication from the reporting or how he's been acting that his hamstring is as serious as Pickett's.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's some option, and it would be great to just see Dylan get something. But yeah, I guess what I would say, over under, would you put an over under on 13 pass attempts by Shador next weekend in the second preseason game?
I put over. I think you'll get over. I mean, they're going to play. They have to challenge these two in this setting. So I think even if Joe plays a series or two, they need to keep challenging them. That's all you're getting out of this preseason, is challenging them and getting your guys run red. I mean, like, I would expect he plays a significant amount of ball and hopefully can extend some of those drives. I know the first drive was not his fault there, close to a first down. There's a little bit of that. And listen, there was a great question in here about how are we feeling if Luke Flourier, we appreciate these questions, doesn't make that miracle catch. I wouldn't call it a miracle catch. I mean, it was a great catch.
A great catch?
I think it's a great catch, but what I'm saying is Luke Flourier is incredibly small. If you get up next to Luke Flourier, like, his radius to catch footballs is very small. So if that's a normal, no offense, Luke, he's doing great, thriving. Hope he gets a $20K a week practice squad opportunity. It smells like it's going to happen for him, as long as he doesn't have something severe after tonight's issue.
Same with Gage Larvidae as well.
Larviday's got a real 53-man chance that we'll talk about.
Pulled up a little lane, but it didn't seem like anyone was too concerned about it at the end.
Yeah. I think, again, the Flourier play was like, it was a good ball. I mean, the guy's got a really small catch. It's very hard at times, especially on the move, getting over someone. I still wouldn't take that away from him. And we're trying not to get carried away here too. My man, like, we're definitely saying, pump the brakes a little bit. It had some good moments, some concerning moments, but overall, too many good things inside of it in the nature of the situation to not feel somewhat excited. So we like that. Overall, I just want to hit the quick stats, man. Nothing crazy. 308. The good thing here is, yes, 6 penalties, some little things that I want to see them get better at. We talked about the illegal shift and there's a couple false starts, but they didn't turn the football over. Love when you don't turn the football over. I think I only had one that Shador kind of put in. I'll be interested if PFF grades out as turnover worthy. There's a dig over the middle there in the second quarter that kind of got a little dicey, but they took care of the football well, and they took 2 turnovers out of the game. So, like, getting a special teams turnover deep in your opponent's territory, huge. Love those capitalizations. And then Nick Needham had a great interception on Andy Dalton's gift wrap, don't hit me in the preseason throw to the right side there. So we like it. Guys who stood out to me on the way out the door, because it's late and I got to write a recap article here. And you can tell me who stood out for you. I thought Carson Schlesinger fits the bill. Looked every bit as good in this environment as he did in camp, and I'm excited for him and leading the defense. 6 tackles, leads the group collectively. Really liked his performance. Defensively, a really strong rush, a couple sacks on the game for Julian Okwara. Really helped himself. Was not doing anything of note in training camp, but he helped himself with a nice performance. Had like a little front shoulder dip. They call that the ghost move there for his first sack there in the second quarter. Really, really nice rush. And then otherwise, Sam Kamara had a nice game. Where's number 92, undersized defensive tackle who can be a little bit of an edge sometimes. He played well, had some pressures, created some chaos. Mason Graham was fine. I thought he was disruptive vertically in the run game, and then when it was pass drops, he got 2 hands on. Like I always talk about this quote from Sean McVay where, those defensive tackles who need 4 hands. Like we just got to get 4 hands on that guy from 2 bodies to slow him down. Panthers were shifting everything his way. I'll cover this in the film recap, but they were kind of putting things on him to have 2 by the center was turning his way a lot. So harder to get pass rush, but you're leaving your other defensive tackle.
I was about to say, you call that a little sign of respect for a rookie?
It's very possible. They could have a rule to tilt toward the 1 tech, but we'll see. I'll watch it. I'll dig in a little bit more.
Especially because they were going live with them the last 2 days too. So maybe they were thinking a little bit
could
about
be.
keeping their,
yeah.
Especially with like their QB1 in there too.
Right. Yeah, could be. I mean, I'll watch it and see if that's what they're doing to everybody throughout the rest of the game. But there were just, drop backs. I'm like, all right, well, how's Mason handling this one? Well, okay.
I'm not going to pretend
4 hands on him.
I'm not going to pretend like I know any of this is close to you, but the things that stood out to me, I would say collectively the defensive front. Just like guys who are going to not make this team, who won't even make it past the first or second cut, just playing with force. I just love watching a Jim Schwartz coached up team, even if it's vanilla in the preseason, winning the line of scrimmage for the majority of the game. Sure, you're going to give up those big plays on the edge. That's what he does. Won't play in zone ever. But overall, I just thought the D-line was exceptional. And then, we were joking about this in the Founders chat about kind of everyone's love and admiration for John Kelly in the preseason years ago. But Amani Marshall kind of popped, right? He kind of flashed.
Yeah, he had a nice game. But both phases, he had some nice wide zone runs. He had a nice run on wide zone where he bent. There's gone through the details of this on some different articles, but there's 3 pathways on wide zone. You're either bouncing it outside, banging it up, kind of like following the edge set turn, or you bend it. Nick Chubb loved to bend it all the way, cut back. And there was one from him that I really liked, good read, and it looked like Kevin Stfansky football, which you mentioned that earlier. Felt like Kevin ball, right? 12 personnel, a lot of movement stuff, getting some shifts, some motions. They were incorporating more play action into what they were doing. Kevin's traditional shotgun West Coast concept stuff, and he did get into empty. He likes to get into empty to try to take advantage of space and all of that. So yeah, it felt very much like Kevin's back. He's back anchoring it, but to your point about the running backs there, nice game for Marshall, really helped his case. And then Travion Williams, who they just brought over, who was formerly with the Bengals, also had some really nice moments.
Did not look. Yeah, I think I'm interested to see what that running back room looks like. Especially, this is all going to be interesting if you're keeping 4 quarterbacks, because somewhere on your team, you're probably going to lose someone that you wish you didn't have to. Right. And I just thought Amani Marshall. You're right. I thought the running back. Listen, we were saying, too, we just want to see some competent running, and I thought we saw it. I thought there was enough positive running that we haven't seen in a long time. And then I thought Larvadain just also flashes with his speed. I thought, like, what we saw in camp, what you saw in person, like, that speed feels like it is 53-man roster professional NFL speed.
Almost broke that punt return as well. So, like, he fits, like, he's dominant, not dominant, it's not the right word, but against who he's gone against, he has dominated. He's been really strong across the board.
Same with Shador. You can only play who's in front of you, and
yeah.
And I thought he flashed for sure.
He did. And it's a continuation of training camp flashes for him, and he moves like an NFL athlete. Like, I like Flourier, I like the story, I like the player. He's got some good traits, but he doesn't really move like an NFL athlete. Like, he's not twitched up enough for that size. And the kickoff return, punt return stuff, was kind of evident there. He's just kind of overwhelmed by it all, but a good story. Whereas Larvadain is like, he could be the 6th wide receiver for this team in the right scenario. But yeah, you're right about the D-line. Alex Wright, comes away with a sack. Aiden Huntington comes away with a sack. And he's an UDFA Tulane product who's very interesting, hyper athletic, can get on the field and play special. He had a special teams tackle, a kickoff tackle in this game. They like him. He's fun and he hustles and he plays really hard. Chris Edmonds talked about this in the pregame show. Jared stood out a little bit. He really gets downhill quick and made some plays in the backfield. And Winston Reed, who is a core part of this team's special teams and kind of those auxiliary units, even at times came on and played fullback in the short yardage stuff late last year. Had some really nice plays in the backfield too. So Dylan Sampson, pretty quiet. I mean, he had a couple early runs. They got those guys out early. They played the first quarter for most of the rookies, but he was kind of rotating through. Run game, it's not bad, not good. We got to break it down. We got to really rewatch it from the right angles and make sure that the Browns from Breakdown will be probably one of the few places. The NFL does not provide preseason all 22 to subscribers of NFL Plus, but lo and behold, we have answers for that. So we will make sure film rooms will be in your inbox if you subscribe with us in the next 48 hours. Feel good about that. So you guys will have everything covered there. Peter, anything on the way out the door, man, that you want to close with here?
Make your kicks, Hopkins. How about that, dude?
Yeah, there you go. You got to make those.
You got to make that, and also maybe line up in the middle, my guy. But I would say, in spite of that, I just thought special teams looked more organized than they have even in the preseason last year. So I would like to see just league average special teams. And turnovers are always fun, even if this is all pretend. Good night. Good night. It was a good night. Hey, man.
It was a good night, man.
Guardians won. Everything's good.
Right. Evan Mobley's got a photo jacked on the beach, like just complete body reach. We're good. Vibes are better than they've been. The Guardians have really rallied, and the Browns are winning fake football games. Listen, it's a fake football game, but I'll tell you what, I like to win them as opposed to the opposite side of the spectrum. So
came out, and knock on wood, came out healthy from week one. Got to do it 2 more weeks, but keep up the good work in terms of things that really matter.
Game notes will drop in the next hour. Keep your eye out on that. And then we'll have opening drive in the morning. This podcast, I'll probably add a little bit to it, replay this. That'll be available for you guys if you missed it. You're already listening to this at the end. You didn't miss it, but tell somebody you know. That's what we want you to do. Tell someone you know to tune in and listen to the show. And then obviously subscribe to every platform you can. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere. We're going to be covering this team like madmen this year. Whether good or bad, we'll have everything you need. Okay. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you guys extremely a ton. And for Peter and I, we will be, like I said, back tomorrow. Keep your eye out. Plenty of stuff coming. Browns 30-10 over the Panthers. A good start to the preseason. Thanks for being here, guys. Go Browns.
Go Browns.